All right, guys, welcome back to No Protein Athlete. And before we get into how terrible CrossFit is, which is why you're all here, I'd like to ask you first to, of course, smash like button, subscribe, do all that fun stuff, because apparently if I don't ask you, you won't do it, and now you're obligated to. So, without further ado, let's get into why CrossFit is designed to injure you. All right, guys, without further ado, the first and the most obvious reason to anyone with a brain why CrossFit is deleterious to your health is zero programming. Have you ever seen a CrossFit workout? I really don't know what people, I guess you just have to come into fitness not knowing anything, or you're just bored. And that seems to be the two common, themes of these people that come in. They come in because they're either already in shape and I guess they don't know what else to do, or they just have no clue what to do. And so you're going to get workouts that are, just completely random. You might not see the same workout for 6 months at a time or a year, depending on what kind of CrossFit box you go to. Anyone who knows anything about programming knows it needs to be specific to the individual relatively, at least. And at the very least, you need to know what the goals of the client are. So if you're just trying to get in shape, of course, yes, going to do CrossFit is going to, be difficult for your body. And so you will adapt to that and get stronger. However, the random nature of it means that you're not able to practice skills efficiently. You can't drill motor patterns. I've never seen anyone in CrossFit do something correctly, really. So that just tells me that they're just constantly ingraining bad form, increasing injury risk, all that good stuff. If you look online, some of the higher studies show CrossFit's injury rate is at 20%. Now, if I were to link to that, it is a little bit cherry picked, so I won't. But you can just sort of tell. I mean, look at these videos of these people running around. It's just complete chaos, and this is what they think working out is. So this has to be number one. It's kind of obvious to anyone who knows what they're doing, but it just has to be said. All right, guys, coming in at number two, it was a close tie with number one. My most hated aspect, actually, personally, is everything is for time. Absolutely everything in this genre of fitness, if you can call it that, is for time. If you know anything about strength and conditioning, if you've gone to school for it, if you've been personal training for a while, if you just read frickin' bodybuilding.com, for God's sakes, you know that this is not really an applicable programming method for almost anyone right out of the gate. Yes, if you're more advanced, of course, high intensity interval training can be very, beneficial for you. But let's take this into consideration. If you're supposed to do a squat, a bench press, and a deadlift in a workout, that sounds pretty reasonable. But if I just say, and do it as fast as possible, then all of a sudden I've created a fitness franchise. That's just how stupid the people are in CrossFit, because they think circuit training is specific to the CrossFit name. Actually, this is how genius Greg Glassman was when he came up with CrossFit, because people weren't really doing this. They were more into the bodybuilding stuff. They were more into the mind-muscle connection. CrossFit just came in and was like, no, we're just going to do everything as fast as humanly possible with no real regard for rest periods. In fact, resting in the workout is considered, I guess, not good, which is also hilarious. I try not to laugh at people doing this. When people see someone do, look at these CrossFit games, right? They're doing like the most outlandish maneuvers in the name of being functionally fit, and then they take away the rest periods, So basically, you have to be under heavy fire constantly. You got to be like under threat to your life for this fitness system to make any sense. Anyone who's programmed before understands that taking no rest periods is the laziest, stupidest way to go about trying to improve your fitness. If you disagree, you're wrong. All right, moving on to number three, before I get too much flack for that last one. CrossFit doesn't teach tension. This is the number one thing that is lacking in all training programs in all ways, is that people aren't taught that constant tension is necessary to benefit themselves from fitness. CrossFit is the most janky, kind of snappy, non-tension oriented exercises and modifications of those exercises that they can come up with. For instance, the classic pull-up, a great exercise, but, that's difficult and people can't do on day one. So they had to market something, I guess, that the average person could at least pretend they could do, which is kind of flail around on the bar. And this is what CrossFit culture kind of epitomizes, in my opinion, is that things are done in this very spastic way, this very over the top, snapping their joints, all sorts of stuff that I mean, you're just watching it. I mean, this is why people who don't even lift, they watch CrossFit and they just sort of start going, ew, that doesn't look healthy. It's like they intrinsically know something's missing. This is the number one thing missing for everybody, is that people cannot maintain tension. You get people who can't hold a body weight squat trying to squat 135 in these workouts. It's just not going to work out. No pun intended. So, you guys have to understand that when you're working out, the point is to develop motor unit control, tension, muscle mass. All these things are dependent on your ability to maintain a mind-muscle connection with what you're doing, which you cannot do if you are doing CrossFit. All right, guys, coming in at number 4 is something I kind of coined myself. This is the martyr syndrome. This is kind of a broader commentary on all of fitness, but let's keep it to CrossFit today. CrossFit kind of, I guess, probably started the whole martyr. Actually, that's not true. They didn't start it, but they certainly popularized what I coined as the martyr syndrome for the average person working out. People who think doing Fran is something to get patted on the back afterwards, that they just have to crush themselves for their workout. Oh, they're so sore yesterday from, what kind of dumbass shit they just did in their workout the previous day because someone was screaming at them. This kind of is going to get rolled into my next point. But the whole point here, guys, is that it doesn't matter if you work out. Nobody cares if you work out. You're not special if you do CrossFit. It doesn't matter if you powerlift. It doesn't matter if you're Rich frickin' Froning, whatever his name is. The guy's got an IQ of like 50. Nobody cares. It doesn't matter. And it's so funny because these people, they act like it's their life. I mean, it is, because that's how pathetic they are, but they just gotta feel like, I'm sacrificing something in order to come do this, or I'm creating mental toughness in this, warehouse full of sweat and barbells. It's just, and these people have never been lifting long. They just never been lifting long, because you've seen guys who've been lifting heavy or consistently for 10 or 20 years. And it's just like going to work. They go to work, they might have to get amped up during the workout to get it done, maybe because they have exceedingly high goals or they're performing at an exceedingly high level. But the average person is, like the average female is doing the 95-pound thruster, and then they have like 5 people standing around them screaming at them to do it. So then what does that, mentally do to the person, is that they get this self-aggrandized version of themselves because they did a shitty thruster with bad form. It's just so palpably funny, once again, to anyone who knows what the hell they're doing. Guys, and number 5, a little bit touching on all the points. We're just going to throw it on there because it's so painfully obvious, is that CrossFit enforces poor technique more than anything. It's the number one thing that they do. That, today's workout, is going to be snatches. Cool. What's the workout? It's going to be 100 snatches in a row. They program movements that aren't designed for high repetition, and then your form isn't perfect, and it just doesn't matter. You just got to go do those imperfect reps over and over and over again. And going back to the other point, so what's this going to do? This is going to train your mind to frickin' suck. It's going to make you suck because you have no connection between what is a good rep and a bad rep. There's too much going on. You're doing too many reps. Maybe some of them are good. Most of them are bad. What did they say? It's you do something wrong once, and it takes something like 1,000 or 10,000. It's always some ridiculous number, of correct repetitions to get rid of that one wrong repetition. So what do you think CrossFit is doing? What are they really helping? People are like, oh, they expose people to squatting and deadlifting and blah, blah, blah. It's like, who cares? These people aren't going to be working out the rest of their life. You know what I mean? It's, show me a 65-year-old doing CrossFit. You know what I mean? Show me a 70-year-old who still power lifts or does push-ups or anything. People just stop after a while. It doesn't matter. They certainly popularized the industry because people see, all the CrossFit celebrities just banging out reps of exercises they have no business doing high repetitions with, So I'm sorry to be repetitive here today, guys, but it's obviously it's fun to hate on CrossFit, but there's a serious tend to this video that this system, there is no other way. It is designed to churn out injured people. Every single person I've ever trained, which is a ton of people I've trained who came from CrossFit, are all freaking injured, and they all had piss poor form in every aspect. They couldn't even squat right. And here they are like, yeah, squat 315. It's like, no, you don't squat. You can't even squat. It's beyond laughable at this point. And I'm mostly making this video because I am a trainer and I have to undo the bullshit that CrossFit, teaches people from day one and then kind of ingrains into them that this is the only way to go about it. That's another thing I can't stand about this system, is that their shit doesn't stink. when, you know, it's the most stinky. Sorry, terrible analogy, but once again, guys, it enforces poor technique. When you see someone in CrossFit do something correctly, realize that that is that is not the rule, but the exception for sure.
All right, guys, if you like that content, please consider subscribing. And as always, cheers.